welcome back to Horizon 180. As we mentioned last week, there was a conference in the homeland that involved a lot of the ANC participants from around the world. And ANCA Executive Director Aram Hamparian was there. He joins us now to talk about this conference. Aram, hello.
Hey, Paul. How are you doing?
Good. Aram, we read about your visit to Armenia. Now tell us about this Hai Tahd Conference. What happened in Armenia?
Well, we had Hai Tahd leaders from all over the world, from Australia to Europe to South America, Moscow, Beirut, Brussels. We all joined together in Yerevan, had a pretty extensive conference, exchanging ideas, suggestions, best practices. Really a strong learning experience for all of our team members. We then moved the conference to Stepanakert for May 9th, the celebration of Shushi's liberation, and had a chance to meet with the Karabakh president, the foreign minister, and actually held a session in the Parliament building. So it was really a great opportunity to connect with the homeland and also to exchange ideas among our colleagues around the world.
We talk about ANC and ANC Western Region activities here week in and week out, and we confront a number of issues from Azeri to Turkish lobbyists to trying to reach our representatives. Was that a universal theme with other ANC chapters around the world? Do they have the same type of issues and struggles?
Absolutely. I think that a common denominator for all of our efforts is that the Turkish government is investing heavily in trying to portray their cause as the cause of Turks around the world. The Turkish lobby is growing not just in America, but in Europe, South America, around the world. That's a common challenge we face. Another challenge we face is, how to stand strong against the protocols and Turkey's manipulation of that process, how to fight for Nagorno Karabakh, how to build our own capacity as Armenian Americans, how to build the Armenian team, the Hai Tahd team. I think that was a really strong focus of our efforts, and I feel very confident that we're taking the steps necessary, Paul, in terms of communication, in terms of advocacy, in terms of team building. I think we're doing a good job.
And obviously all of these ANCs are pretty active as much as the ANCA here in America is. Were there any moments that you kind of sort of on the sides were showing off about what ANCA has done compared to the ANC in France or in Australia?
Can I tell you, many of these countries have recognized the Armenian genocide, so I think they were certainly, they had their teaching opportunities for us. I think in some ways we've, made some steps forward, especially in terms of some social networking. I think that we've been pretty good at. We all have something to teach each other, and we learn from each other and draw energy from each other. I've always believed that courage is contagious, and we get that from each other. And I think that's a wonderful thing about being involved in the Armenian community.
And will there be more of these ANC global meetings in Yerevan and in Stepanakert?
Absolutely. We should do this as often as we can, involve as many people as we can. I think that there's a special quality to a conference that takes place in our homeland, just as it's important to hold, regional conferences, leadership meetings, here in the U.S. and all over the world. There's really, we should take every opportunity to bring our folks together and for all of us to learn from each other.
One thing that you've been active with in D.C. since you got back is the Woodrow Wilson Center and its plans to award Davutoglu, the Foreign Minister of Turkey, with an award. Update us on what this plan is and what you've been doing at the ANCA to stop this ridiculous act.
Yeah, it is truly ridiculous. The President Woodrow Wilson stood for many things. Two of the most important were he was a friend of the Armenians. He believed that the Armenian nation deserved justice and its future back after the genocide. On the one hand, on the other hand, he believed in academic inquiry. He was our only PhD to serve as a president, and this giving an award to Davutoglu makes a mockery of both of them. It puts awards a guy in the name of Woodrow Wilson, who has done nothing but attack and squeeze and pressure and arm twist Armenia, especially on the protocols. And on the other hand, a guy who runs a foreign ministry that is strong-arming the rest of the world not to talk about the genocide, to silence academic inquiry, to shut up historians and all that they have to say about this subject. So, by enforcing Article 301, not just in Turkey, but also trying to enforce it in America, he's clearly not someone who believes in open academic inquiry. This is just a mockery on so many fronts. We've been talking to our friends in Congress who provide a great deal of the funding for the Woodrow Wilson Center and telling them they need to investigate this. We've joined with our friends in the Greek American community in protesting it. We're talking directly to the people at the center, but also people in Congress, trying to make sure that this does not happen. It's a disgrace not just to Woodrow Wilson's memory, and he was a great man, but also would really compromise the center's integrity. And I think that perhaps we're watching out for their reputation more than they are.
And people at home can be involved. Tell us how.
By going to the ANCA website, go to www.anca.org, and go to the Action Alert section. And on the Action Alert section, the first thing I believe is an opportunity to write a letter. It takes about 2 minutes. Write a letter to your member of Congress. Say that we want this investigated and we want answers. And the letter requests that the member of Congress get back to you with whatever they've done on the subject. And I think that if you don't get an answer, if you send a letter and you don't get an answer in about a week's time, call that office and say, I sent a letter, I haven't heard back. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're doing on the subject.
Okay. On another note, over the weekend there were rumors that Matthew Bryza, who's one of the Secretary of States or Deputy Secretaries who's been representing Eurasia and Europe issues, was also part of the NKR Conflict Resolution Committee. There are rumors that he's going to be the next U.S. ambassador to Azerbaijan. Is there any truth to that?
Well, it's really hard to figure this one out, Paul. This post has been open since last summer. It's been like 9 months where there's been no U.S. ambassador to Azerbaijan, which is really strange. It requires, I think, an awful lot of planning to keep a post vacant for 9 months. Typically, the State Department works like clockwork. They fill positions rather quickly. Clearly, there's a story here. Clearly, it's something that's not being shared. Perhaps the Aussie government has had protests against Bryza or other candidates that have been proposed. Certainly, we have our concerns about Matt Bryza. We've been very public about them. We've never made a secret of our concerns. In fact, last August, the ANCA chairman, Ken Ochian, wrote a very detailed letter to Secretary Clinton outlining our views of Mr. Bryza's shortcomings in the conduct of his diplomacy. We're watching closely, but we're not sure. And in fact, nothing is certain, in fact, until the president says it is so, and we're waiting. We're following the White House website for an official announcement. None of these rumors really count. We're watching them closely, but none of the rumors count until the White House makes its announcement. If it in fact does turn out that Mr. Bryza does get this nomination, it's then up to the Senate to decide. And we think the Senate has a constitutional responsibility to strictly scrutinize, to carefully examine this nomination. The Constitution says they need to advise and consent to the president's proposal. So this is what the function they should perform, I think.
Okay, Aram Hamparian, thank you very much. We'll continue this dialogue about Bryza in the weeks ahead, and we'll check in with you next Monday to see what else is happening on Washington, on Capitol Hill. Aram, welcome back to the U.S. and welcome back home. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Paul. It's great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And stay with us. We have a lot more to go to talk about on Horizon 180. Stay with us.